All right, so we're facing west on the easement road, and the 22 acres, it's on the left side, it's on the south side. We're actually here toward the northeast corner. You can see that meadow. Most of that meadow is on the property. There's the survey pin right there, right toward the edge of the meadow. So the property goes that away. I believe it's about 300 feet wide. Don't have the survey map here, but that seems about right. This is kind of a special tract. It's got an extremely long private trail that leads back to basically a natural opening that the guys found several hundred feet into the property. So we're going to check that out. First, we'll drive the road frontage here, kind of see that, and then we'll go south onto the property. So the trail, I believe, begins toward the edge of the meadow. So we'll see that in just a minute here. We're on the four-wheeler today because it just seemed like it'd be a lot more fun than the pickup truck. You're going to see a lot of big timber on this property. There has not been any recent logging, so these trees that you're seeing here, that's just from the easement road being widened out and improved. But we're going to see some beautiful timber on this tract. So the other survey pin is out that way somewhere. This does have over 300 feet of frontage, so we're not going to drive all the frontage, but we'll spin around and we'll pull down that little trail and take a look at the cleared site. There's actually an old pond just south of the field on this property. Good chance it would hold water if it were cleaned out a little bit. It just probably hasn't been cleaned out for 50 or 60 years. But that's clearly a pond, an old pond right there. Like we mentioned earlier, this is the northeast corner right here. This property is surveyed with the corners marked. The T-post was added, but the actual survey pin is here as well. And this is the little trail that's going to bring us to the site. So I don't know if this is something you want to drive in your pickup truck or not. Kind of use your own judgment. We're on a four-wheeler, so we'll be fine. This was an existing trail that the guys kind of widened out with the mulcher. But there are some rocks. There are some little stubs that the mulcher left behind. Actually, I can see two pretty good rocks right up here. Other than that, what I'm seeing looks okay. So just use caution. beautiful pine trees back there, enormous pine trees. Hardwoods, oaks and hickories as well, but those pines are just especially impressive back there. We've got to stop for just a minute here. These pine trees are just way too pretty to drive right by. I mean, we've got massive pine trees on this tract. This is some of the nicest pine that I think we've ever seen. That's about a 26 or 28 inch diameter pine tree. And it is tall and it is straight. That is a gorgeous tree. If you've looked into building a log cabin and ever had to price logs, then you know the potential value of that tree. That is a huge pine. Hard to see in the video. I'll throw the hat down there for some scale, but that's a big boy. And that is certainly not the only large pine we're seeing over here. In fact, just from where we're standing, I don't know if they're this big, but these are at least 20-inch pines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That one's 12-inch. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Well over 20 large pine trees just right here. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So once this property's been paid for in full, you could cut those pines, you could use them for a cabin, a full log cabin. You could mill them into lumber or timber, or rough lumber. I mean, you've just got a lot of options. That's obviously once the property's been paid for in full, but I mean, they're here and they're just getting bigger. So that's pretty awesome. This is interesting. So I had not actually been down this trail. I just heard that it was a great trail. And interestingly enough, we're seeing some yucca plants right here. And if you're familiar with properties in the Ozarks, when you see yucca plants, that means you're probably within 100 feet of an old original homestead. They would plant these yucca plants in their yards. And use them kind of like we might use an aloe plant, you know, keep an aloe plant in the house for burns and whatnot. The yuccas had a bunch of uses like that too. So they would order them through the mail, like through the Sears and Roebuck catalog, and they would plant them in their yards. And every single time we've seen yucca, we've been, like I said, within 50 feet or 100 feet of an old homestead. So that's really cool to see. This would be a fun area to explore on the property. In fact, look at that. There's a huge rock wall right there. So this was clearly some part of a yard or homestead at some point, this particular portion of the property. This might have been the old foundation here. The almost looks like the wall turns a little bit and makes the border of a yard or a home. That is awesome. That would explain why this existing trail was here. So yeah, I would say it's a really, really good bet that if we poked around here, we'd find some more stuff. That was part of an old homestead. I definitely really see a lot of mature timber. But yeah, those yuccas are a dead giveaway that there was certainly life out here. And the funny thing about these yuccas, at least in the Ozarks, they really don't spread out. So you see how they're 30 or 40, but they're all right in this area. They don't seem to spread much. So that's why it's easy to tell that we're basically on top of an old homestead. Well, that was unexpected, but very, very cool. Some kind of creek bed here with just a little bit of water in it. That could easily have been part of why they chose this for a homestead, if there was some type of creek or spring. They always wanted a water source, of course. And then on this side is where we had that cool kind of rock wall. That would be great to explore that as well. Wow, that's cool. And we haven't even made it to the little clearing yet. Although I think it's just right around the corner here. Well, this is extremely pretty. Looks like an old deer feeder right there at the edge of the trees. And then I saw another one right there. So this has obviously been someone's prime hunting spot for many years. We are deep within the property. I mean, we are hundreds and hundreds of feet off of the easement road. The mature timber continues, big pine trees in there. This meadow is gorgeous. It looks like a deer has pretty recently been scraping away there. And I'm told the trail continues, so we might as well go a little further and see what we can see. We are still seeing the big pine trees just about everywhere we look. So many big pines on this property, it's unbelievable. Looks like a trail cuts off to that direction. Some type of little creek bed right there. Now we may have meandered off of the property at some point, since this trail was already in existence. I'm not sure if it's completely on the property. I imagine at some point it meanders off. Although as I look at map right here, we are still well within the boundaries of the property here. Well, we'll just keep trucking then. We'll go a little further. I don't think we'll explore the whole property. Even if we get to the south side, we've only seen a small bit of this property. So as I look at map right, the trail started to angle just a few hundred feet back, and we have finally crossed off the property. But I mean, that trail went, wow, close to a quarter mile back into the property. So that gives you so many options for hunting spots or campsites or build sites. I mean, that's just awesome. So we'll do a drone video as well. You can see at least part of this tract from the air. Spectacular. We had no idea the yuccas were on there. That kind of indicated the old homestead. That was cool to see. And certainly there's going to be some other surprises on this property.